There's a young girl in Massachusetts named Caitlin who was born with a tumor on her liver. From birth, she received many surgeries and procedures that were all meant to save her life, but they ended up failing, and at one point she even coded and needed her heart restarted by doctors. At 5 months of age, Caitlin was added to the organ transplant waiting list, and just 2 days later, her parents received a call letting them know that she would be receiving a partial liver transplant from a liver donated by a man named Jeff, who had just recently died from a fall. Today, Caitlin is a happy and healthy child, all because Jeff decided to become an organ donor. Anand, a 21-year-old Floridian man, died from injuries sustained in a car accident. He and his family were very unfamiliar with organ donation and ended up being encouraged by Anand's attending nurse to donate his organs to someone in need. With the donation of his heart, liver, kidneys, and pancreas, Anand saved the lives of 6 different people. His parents are now advocates for organ donation and take every chance they can to inform others on its benefits. These are both true stories from organdonor.gov, a website dedicated to educating others on the process of organ donation, providing true stories from organ transplant recipients and organ donors' families, and to aid in the registration of others for the organ donation list. In America, there's a list. It's dedicated to people who are in need of life-saving organ transplants. According to the United Network for Organ Sharing, there are currently over 115,000 people who are candidates for this list, and there are 75,000 people who are actively waiting for organs and are on the organ transplant waiting list. Now, this might not seem like such a huge number in comparison to the population of the United States, which according to the U.S. Census Bureau is over 326 million people. However, unfortunately, for those 75,000 people actively waiting for an organ transplant, there are only 15,008 active registered organ donors. Now, this is a huge problem because every 10 minutes another name is added on to the organ transplant waiting list, and every day 20 people on average will die while waiting for an organ transplant. Now, the simple solution to this problem would just be that everybody goes to register to become an organ donor, but the problem is that most people don't know what organ donation is, or that they have the option to sign up to become an organ donor. It's not something that's heavily advertised. Not a lot of information is given to people for it. So this is definitely something that needs to be advertised. It needs to be on social media, it needs to be on television in commercials, and it needs to be on billboards. It needs to be somewhere where a lot of people can get information about organ donation, or even just get organ donation into their mind so they go and look up information themselves. When I went to renew my driver's license when I was 18, I was barely asked if I wanted to become an organ donor. It was just a yes or no question on the screen. I barely even paid attention to it. So that's definitely something that needs to be talked about more when you go to renew your license and you're of the right age to choose if you want to become an organ donor. You should be receiving information on it at that time of the benefits of the process of why you should become an organ donor. On the other hand, those who do know what organ donation is may think that their religion doesn't allow it, or that they're too young or too old or too unhealthy to become an organ donor. But that's simply not the case. According to organdonor.gov, anyone can register to become an organ donor regardless of age or medical history. And actually, most religions do allow and even encourage organ donation, thinking of it as a final act of love and compassion. Now, many people might be thinking, what's in it for me? Why should I become an organ donor? Well, actually, it's going to be the easiest and quickest decision you'll ever make. It's very easy to register. It takes seconds, and then you'll probably forget about it. You won't think about it again. It'll simply be a pink dot on your license. However, when you do end up passing away, whether it's because you're 90 years old and you die of old age, or you're 30 years old and you die of a tragic accident, you could save the lives of up to 8 people simply by main organ transplant or donation. And you could improve the lives of 50 more people by tissue and eye transplants or donation, according to the New York Organ Donor Network. On the other hand, what if you become ill or are in an accident and you require a life-saving organ transplant? Wouldn't it be nice to know that there's enough organ donors in the United States that you won't have to sit on the organ transplant waiting list for months or years when you really don't have that time? Wouldn't it be nice to know that you wouldn't be one of those 20 people that's dying every day while waiting on the organ transplant waiting list? So what can you do to solve this problem? Well, you can go register to become an organ donor. You can register online. You can register at the Secretary of State or DMV, or you could even sign a physical donor card. You can register online through your state's donor registry. You can find this on organdonor.gov. It has links to every state's organ donor registry website. You can wait until you need to renew your driver's license and just click yes when asked to become a organ donor at the Secretary of State. Or you can physically sign a donor card and keep it in your wallet or purse so people around you and your families know that you want to donate your organs after death. It's important to be knowledgeable about organ donation. You should go onto organ donation websites and learn about the process. You should learn about what organs you can donate and what donation means for you and for an organ transplant recipient. If you're still worried that maybe your religion doesn't allow for organ donation, all you have to do is ask your religious leader. It's a simple yes or no question. Organ donation is such a simple but important concept. It's so easy to decide to be an organ donor. Most people are eligible to become organ donors, and it takes seconds to sign up, but it will end up saving the lives of so many people and improving the lives of so many more people.